Hi Trumpets. If you came here from the other video, that's great. I want to provide a little bit of a refresher on how to put our instrument together, how to hold it correctly, how to create our correct playing embouchure, how to do a quick buzz, how to warm up a little bit and produce our first couple of notes. And then we can head back over to the other video and continue with the lesson. So let's start with putting our instrument together. It's not a big job, but it's an important one to do correctly. We're going to start with our instrument case on the floor. We don't want to do it on our lap or on some unsteady surface, because if it's up on something, it could fall to the floor, and we don't want that to happen. So if it's already on the floor, there's nowhere to fall. So we're going to lay it flat on the floor with the brand of the instrument facing up, latches facing us. Open up those latches. And let's pull out our trumpet, and we'll hold that in our left hand, and our right hand we'll grab our mouthpiece. And the only thing that's involved in putting it together is just putting our mouthpiece into the lead pipe. And we're going to do that with just our thumb and first finger holding the mouthpiece. If we have too many fingers on it, getting too big of a grip, we might over tighten it. So if we're just using our thumb and first finger, we can't over tighten it. We're going to drop it into the lead pipe, nice and gentle, and give it a little turn in the clockwise direction. That's going to hold it on with a pressure fit as much as we need. We don't need to be any more difficult than that. We don't have to give it a big twist, just a little twist is more than enough. To hold the trumpet, we hold the trumpet in the left hand, we manipulate the valves with the right hand. So let's talk about the left hand first. What we're going to do is we're going to take our left hand thumb and slide it in that ring for the first valve slide. That's this part here. This slide is for the first valve. And we're going to slide our thumb through that ring. We're going to take our middle finger of the left hand and go through the third valve slide ring. This is the third valve. So we're going to go through that ring there, and the rest of our hands are going to curl around the valve casings. And that's going to hold and steady our instrument. For the right hand, our right thumb lives right in the middle of the first two valves, right in this crack here. And then our pinky is up on top of the pinky ring, not inside the ring, but up on top the ring. And that brings our three valve fingers in just the right position to manipulate those valves. And when we play the valves, or when we use our valves, we want to make sure that we're using the tip of our fingers in a downward motion. Let's see if I can show it this way. Okay? We don't want to use our flat fingers to play the valves this way. Okay? We want to use the tips of our fingers to push straight down. And so when I play the instrument, you'll notice that I take the instrument and I tilt it slightly toward the hand that's manipulating the valves. And that puts it at a much more natural playing position, rather than, and let's see if I can rotate this way to help you out, rather than holding the instrument straight up and down and tilting this hand over to get that position. This is awkward for me to play, but if I rotate it slightly, now my shoulders are relaxed, my arm is not trying to hold up to get on top of those valves. It's much more natural. This hand feels natural like this rather than like this. This hand feels natural like this rather than up and down or like this. So that's a very natural way to hold the instrument. Before we get any further, let's talk about embouchure. The way I like to remember to play with my trumpet embouchure is think of my favorite food. My favorite food are those Entenmann's chocolate-covered donuts. When I think of my favorite food, and hopefully when you think of yours, my lips kind of go into a natural shape, and I'll show you what that looks like. They relax slightly together. They're pulled back at the corners because I'm smiling because I like food. And I'm thinking my favorite one. And when I'm thinking of my favorite food, I make a sound. I go, mmm. Make that yummy sound. Now, I don't make that sound when I play the instrument, but everything else is in the exact right position to play the trumpet. Lips are relaxed slightly together. Corners are back with a little bit of a smile. The corners are pinched together, and they're resting slightly together. Now, if I take my mouthpiece out of my instrument, and I think of my favorite food, lips slightly together, I make that shape. And then I take my mouthpiece and I put it directly in the middle of my lips, top to bottom and side to side. Now I have the perfect trumpet playing embouchure. But notice what my lips do not do. My lips do not come forward to play the trumpet. There's no puckering of the lips. The lips are pulled back at the corners, not pushed forward at the center. I'll say that again. The lips are pulled back at the corners and not pushed forward in the center. So think of the food, right in the center. Now if I pinch the corners and I blow air through the center of my lips, they're going to vibrate together and create a buzzing sound. It'll sound like this. I can't create that sound if my lips are puckered. Makes a completely different sound, and it's not one that we want to make, right? Pull the corners back, and I get that buzz sound. Now if I do that with the mouthpiece to help control the area of my lips that are buzzing, I get this. A very pleasing buzz sound, a nice, full, strong buzz. The other thing to think and to remember as I do that is I want to start every time on my trumpet, I want to make the buzzing start with my tongue. And the way to do that is to think of the word to, T-O-O. And if I say the word to, my tongue in my mouth starts touching the back of my top teeth. Right in here. Say the word to with me. To. Go ahead. Do it again. To. Do you notice that that's what your tongue does? It starts behind your top teeth and then gets pulled away to allow the air to pass through your mouth. I can do it 3 times in a row. To, to, to. Could you do it 3 times in a row with me? Ready, go. To, to, to. And that's going to create a very strong beginning to our note. If we try to begin a buzz without using our tongue, we kind of get a sound that sounds like this. And do you hear that hissing sound that precedes the buzz? That's the sound of wasted air. That's air that we breathed in to produce a tone, but it was expelled and didn't produce a tone because we didn't build up sufficient pressure behind our tongue to start the buzz. When the tongue is against the top teeth, it's blocking the air and we're building up that pressure, and when it's time to start the note, our tongue pulls away and allows our lips to start vibrating immediately with no wasted air. It creates a clean beginning to the note rather than a soft or a jagged beginning to the note. So let's try to buzz with 3 twos. Are you ready? 1, 2, go. Do you see how that works? That creates a clean beginning to our sound. We never want to start or stop a note without using our tongue. Our tongue ends the note by moving back up into the same position. Let's take a great big breath. When we take a breath to play, we want to remember a couple things. We need to put our body in the right position to take the right kind of musician's breath. There's a couple things to remember. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Feet are flat on the floor. We're sitting in our chair, but we're scooting forward enough so that our back is not touching the back of the chair. That allows us to breathe and expand in all directions without pressing against a hard surface. Our upper torso is straight but relaxed, and our shoulders are back and relaxed. We don't want to play with tension in our shoulders. That'll inhibit our motion up here as we play, and that'll also keep us from breathing correctly. So our shoulders are relaxed, and we want to breathe the air and put the air low in our body to rest against the diaphragm, because that's the muscle that we use when we play. So let's take a great big player's breath. We'll put our mouthpiece up to our embouchure after remembering our shape, and then we'll do a nice 8-beat buzz starting with our tongue. Ready? Body in position. Embouchure ready. Let's breathe in. And let's play for buzz for 8 beats. Ready? Go. Did you make it for 8 beats? If not, try it for 4 beats. And then see if you can add 1 beat at a time until you get up to 8 beats. There's an easy way to fix it if you find you can't make it all the way to 8 beats. Try this. take a bigger breath. It's not natural for us to speak in conversation and take a great big breath, but we need to when we play our instrument. So take a great big trumpet player's breath, fill the lungs without raising the shoulders, and let's try that again. Let's breathe together, and then we'll buzz for 8 beats. Ready? See if you can get all the way to 8 beats. Let's do 4 2 buzzes just to get our tongue exercised a little bit more. Let's take that same breath and do 4 2 tongues. And let's do that one more time. Breathe in. And that's a great way to warm up on your instrument. Practice getting the tongue engaged, practice getting those big full breaths, getting our cheeks so they're not inflated, our lips so they're not puckered, and that'll produce the best buzz and that'll give us the best sound on our instrument. Once we do that, we can put our instrument back together. We remember how we hold it. Thumb, middle finger, rest of the fingers curl around. On the right hand, thumb lives in the crack between the first 2 valves. Pinky is up on top of the ring. The last 3 fingers are on top of the valves. The first note that we're going to play on trumpet is the note E. And to play an E, we're going to push down our first and second valve. And let's hear what that note sounds like. We're going to hold it for 4 beats. Let's breathe deep together. Let's try that one more time. Ready? Breathe in deep. Once you do that, you should be pretty warmed up. So let's go back to the other video now. We'll start at number 2 on page 5, so get your book ready to go. And then we'll play through number 2 all the way to number 11 and review all those beginning fundamentals on the trumpet. I'll see you there. Thanks, trumpets.